In the early days of the Tokugawa shogunate, Nijo Castle was a place for the shogun to stay on his way to the capital. It's been a while since the shogun actually stayed in it, though. We'd met the shogun on the road and begun our escort about 30 minutes earlier, and arrived at the castle relatively recently. By now, I imagined. Kondo-san, Nagakura, Inoue, and the men were greeting the officials and other important people in the shogun's retinue. Well, I've got a job to do too. It was my job to tell soldiers when to change shifts and to carry messages back and forth. A glorified errand girl, in other words. I didn't see myself as being useless, though, I think. I've come with a message.
なんだ、お前が伝達係かよ。ここは遊び場じゃねえんだぜ。
Well, I'm not here to play.
へえ、そうかよ。じゃあまともな刀も刺してないお前が何しに来てるんだ？
I've come here to do what I can. Would you mind it if we stopped playing games?
言ってみろ。
The chief is currently going around, paying his respects to the people in the castle. Everyone else continue with the guard.
わかった。確かに伝達は聞いたぜ。
Eh? That's it? It's that simple?
おい。なんだそのバカ面は。俺が伝達を聞いたのがそんなにおかしいか。
Well, no, I just...
仕事は仕事だからな。市場を挟むつもりはねえんだよ。ほら、伝達は聞いたんだ。さっさと行け。
Miki and I never really got on the best of terms, but maybe he's a responsible person. I want to find out more about Miki, and I don't know if we're gonna get that chance, but we'll see. After he shooed me away, I continued attending to my duties as a messenger. In the surroundings of Nijo Castle, I can see the warriors wearing a white uniform, which was different than the afternoon uniform. They don't seem too nervous. But I guess it makes sense. Some of the Imperial Nationalist extremists were driven out of Kyoto, and many warriors fled. There's no way anything would happen. A sudden chill ran down the length of my spine. I froze. I knew the feeling. The length of cold steel seeking entry into your flesh, eyes shining with a lust for blood and violence. Since I'd begun living with the Shinsengumi, I felt it more than once. Bloodlust. My eyes were drawn to the roof where no one would think to look. A large wall cast a shadow, shielding a section of the roof from the moonlight. There they stood. You.
気づいたか。さほど鈍いというわけでもないようだ。
They looked very distinctive, unlike any soldier I'd seen before. The 3 sets of piercing eyes scattered my thoughts, making it hard to think. I had recognized them. Now I had to put names to faces. Chikage Kazuma. Kyuju Amagiri. Kyo Shiranui. They were connected to both the Satsuma and the Chosu, and they made an effort to impede the Shinsengumi at Ikeda and again at Hamaguri. Why are you here?
そのなぜっつうのはどうやってここに立ち入ったかを聞いてやがんのか？だったら答えは簡単だ。俺ら鬼の一族には人間が作る障害なんざ意味をなさねえんだよ。
我々はある目的のためにここに来た。君を探していたのです。
What? My heart was pounding so hard it could burst. Why do these men know my name? I don't understand. A demon? What do you mean? And what are you here for? No, you must be joking.
鬼を知らぬだと本気で言っているのか。
He stepped forward, cloaked in shadows. When Amagiri spoke, it was calm and peaceful, as if he were reasoning with a frightened child.
君は負った傷がすぐに癒えませんか？
I held my breath.
波の人間とは思えぬほど怪我の治りが早くありませんか？
How does he know my secret? I've never revealed it to anyone before. Well, Words struggled to come to mind, and just as I was about to deny their accusations...
ああ？なんなら血ぶちまけて証明した方が早いか？
Shiranui's gun glistened eerily.
知らぬい。貴様貴重な女鬼に傷を負わせるつもりか。
んなこと言われてもこいつの往生際が悪いんだからしょうがねえだろうが。
After Kazuma glared at Shiranui, his eyes drifted towards the kodachi on my hip again.
多くは語らぬ。鬼を示す生と東の鬼が持つ小立ち。証拠としては十分に過ぎる。
My family name? What was wrong with Yukimura? I don't understand what he was saying, and the cold sweat started inching down my spine.
言っておくが、お前を連れて行くのに同意などいらぬ。女鬼は貴重だ。共に来い。
His hand stretched out from the darkness, pale and grasping like the tentacle of some hideous subterranean monster. Then a blade flickered through the night.
おいおい、合いびきならもう少し色気のある場所を選んだ方がいいんじゃねえか。
Hey, Harada!
またお前たちか。田舎の犬は目端だけは聞くと見える。
それはこちらのセリフだ。
Harada! Saito-san! My legs almost collapsed, as if the now shattered tension was the only thing keeping me standing. I teetered backwards, my balance momentarily lost. A strong senri hand caught me and pulled me back, its grip harsh as steel.
下がってろ。
Hijikata-san. One hand guided me around behind him as the other drew his sword.
将軍の首でも取りに来たかと思えば、こんなガキ一人に一体何の用だ。
将軍も貴様らも今はどうでもいい。これは我ら鬼の問題だ。
鬼だと。
His eyes narrowed. Hijikata seemed perplexed by Kazuma's statement, as if contemplating the possibility of its truth.
こいつの面を拝むのは金門の変以来だな。
腐れんってとこか？大して嬉しくもねえがな。再会という意味ではこちらも同じくだ。だが何の考えもわかんな。
我々の邪魔立てをするつもりですか？ならば。
The tension was so thick in the air that I could scarcely breathe. They were a powder keg ready to explode. Even the slightest movement could set them off. It wasn't like I could do much. But I still wanted to help them, so I grabbed my sword.
副長たちの心配は無用だ。
Yamazaki? When did you...
副長の命だ。君はこのまま俺が屯所まで連れて行く。
Then you're telling me to run away?
その通りだ。君がここにいてもできることは何もない。
I mean, he may be right, but... We're going back to the headquarters! We're not brave this route. We're not brave this route. Even as I ran back to the headquarters with Yamazaki, I couldn't shake the fear in my heart. When I finally got to the compounds, I still felt nervous, and I could do nothing but stare into the blank darkness behind me.
もう大丈夫だ。さすがにここまで追ってはこれまい。
I think it's but. Is it but? It's but. But...
不安なところ申し訳ないが、俺は副長たちのところへ戻らなくてはならない。皆将軍校の警護に出ているから、今の屯所に大使はほとんど残っていない。沖田さんか東堂さんのところにいるのがいいだろう。そこが最も安全だ。
Understood.
では、後のことは頼んだぞ。
With that, he disappeared back into the darkness. Suddenly, the night felt very quiet. The word demon echoed through my head, and their faces floated in front of my eyes. I shook my head. As the temple came back into focus, I felt very, very alone. As Yamazaki said, I should go find Okita or Heisuke. But whom should I look for? Well, we're doing Okita's route, so I think the answer is pretty fucking obvious.
あれ
Okita looked up from cleaning his sword as I entered the hall.
二条城に行ってるんじゃなかったっけ？どうしたの？一人で。
Well,
あ、わかった。
there's that smile again. What do you know?
さては何か失敗して土方さんに追い返されたんでしょ。
Something like that.
あのさ、そんな引きつった顔で返事されても全然からかいがいがないんだけど。
Good!
何があったのか聞かせてくれるかな。
Well, still feeling upset. I told Okita about the incident that unfolded in Nijo Castle. The minute I mentioned Kazuma's name, Okita's eyes lit up.
へえ、そうなの。風間千景。あいつが来てたんだ。あいつらが来るって分かってれば、意地でも言ったんだけどな。
What? Of course he could have. No, you're sick. Hijikata-san told you to rest.
うるさいな。そもそも君が悪いんじゃない。君にもらった薬、全然効か。
Okita! For just a moment, all colors but one faded away. I forgot about demons and castles upon seeing one thing. The sickly red splatter across Okita's hand and mouth. Are you okay? I'll go get someone. Heisuke!
ダメだ!
His voice was rough and strained, but filled with unexpected rage. He wiped the blood from his mouth and glared at me over the top of his hand. From under his bangs, his eyes, burning with anger, nailed me to the floor.
今見たことは忘れて。大丈夫。ただ喉が傷ついただけだよ。
Back when I was in Edo, I was helping my father out at his clinic. There were a few times where I'd see patients who'd cough up blood from coughing too much. But what I just saw was something else. Okita.
聞こえなかった。忘れろって言ったでしょ。
He was so adamant about me not helping him, so it was difficult to know how to react. What could I tell him? I won't tell anyone. But please, for me, get some rest today. Please?
ありがとう。それに、今から二条城に行っても間に合わないだろうしね。ほんと、間が悪いな。
He grumbled and complained like a child, but before long I convinced him to lay down and rest. The words of the men who claimed to be demons lingered in my heart. There were so many things for me to be worried about. However, more than any of that, I was just worried about the man sick in front of me. I continued to eye Okita, who slept with his back faced towards me as I watched the dawn slowly emerge through the long, cold night. Since then, once the rest of the men returned, there was a meeting among the captains. The subject of the meeting was that 3 men at Nijo Castle, Chikage Kazuma, Kyujo Amagiri, and Kyo Shiranui. They called themselves demons, and their previous encounters with the Shinsengumi suggested they were somehow involved with the Satsuma and Chosu. The Satsuma were the most powerful domain in the opposition domain, and the Chosu were publicly expressive of their dissent towards the shogunate. The Chosu were essentially enemies of the court. I don't know how the 3 men are supposedly affiliated with the domains, but it was abundantly clear that they were not to be dealt with carelessly. There was another problem, however. Why had they come for me? They said I was one of them. I knew about my family name and my kodachi. But how? My name is Chizuru Yukimura. I'm the daughter of my father and my mother. I'm a normal girl, nothing out of the ordinary. But who am I? We all know what's next, right? There was no time to waste.
まあ、あんなところに行きたがるなんて、なんて物好きなのかしら。
I'd like to think since we're disguised as a boy, Ito's like, is that boy gay? That's what my head thought right there. Is this it? I could hear loud voices from inside. Oh. The scene froze me in place. Here we go.
よし、次の人。
おう、俺の番だな。一丁頼みます先生。ふっ、どうすか。剣術一筋で鍛えに鍛えたこの体。
新八さんの場合、体は頑丈だもん。見てもらうのは頭の方だよな。
ああ、余計なこと言ってると締めるぞ平助。
うん、長倉新八と。よし、問題ない。次。
先生、もっとちゃんと見てくれよ。
いやいや、申し分ない健康体だ。
新八、後ろが使えてるんだからさっさと終わらせろって。
そうじゃなくってよ、 もっと他に見るところがあんだろ。鍛え抜かれた鋼のようなこの筋肉とか、仁王像みたいに屈強そうな体型とか。
診察は見てもらうものであって見せつけるものではない。さっさとどけ。
It wasn't difficult to see why Ito-san was desperate to escape. I couldn't imagine him as part of such a display. What should I do? I feel like it's rude to intrude.
雪村君、こんなところでどうかしたのか？
Oh, Yamazaki. Hello. I heard that Matsumoto-sensei was here. Yamazaki didn't look like he was in the mood to tolerate me snooping, so he went to the point. Which is, it's just Yamazaki in general.
なるほど。松本先生に何か話があるようだな。君のことはある程度聞いている。事情はおおよそ分かった。だが、診察がなかなか終わらないようだ。俺に任せてくれるか？
What should I do? Yes, please! Especially if it's Yamazaki doing it for us. Are you sure? Then yes, please do so.
分かった。少し待っていてくれ。